Making change to grow sales isn't always easy. In fact, the number of customers that I work with that say it's harder to implement these basic changes than it isn't, I cannot count. But if you do want to start making change in your business to grow your sales faster, this is the podcast episode for you. Welcome to Trade Sales Made Simple, the show helping 7 to 8 figure trade, construction, and industry leaders finally end the stress of inconsistent sales by simplifying your sales systems so that you can close more deals and grow faster. I'm your host, Ben Wright, and over the last 15 years, I've helped hundreds of trade and sales leaders grow their businesses and generate over $200 million in additional revenue by simplifying their sales processes. Let's get started. In this episode, we're going to go through the 3 ways that you can start making change in your business without a significant headache or huge suck of your time. Now, today's podcast comes from a workshop I ran for a team of about 15 salespeople. Great business, right? Really committed salespeople, a team that wants to learn, a team that wants to grow, and they really showed up in droves. And in fact, one of the quotes that came from that day was, "Ben, what you imparted on Wednesday was brilliant and will increase the sales for our company. Thank you." I really love it when we get this type of feedback because to me it says, all right, what we're doing is making a difference and is something that we need to make sure we share out to more people so that more of these people can grow the sales in their businesses faster. All right, so where can you make change in your business? Well, I'm going to run through the framework that we did for this day. There's 3 things in it, and the good news is you can do this exercise in your business in 1 hour. That's all you need. A couple of key people in your business, particularly anyone involved in the sales process, and you can sit down and make it happen. All right, so what we did with this team was, number 1 is we mapped out their sales process. Now, I've got a pre-filled template with some very common sales process elements in there. If you need that, you can DM me through the show notes to get that. Right, but what they did was they sat down, they mapped their process from first contact with customer through until what happens after the sale. Right, nice and easy. Most sales processes are going to have 5 steps: lead generation, meet and greet, quote, follow up or close, and the post-sale action items. Right, 5 steps. Map them into there. Normally, you're going to end up across those 5 sections with anywhere from 30 to 40 steps. Okay, so number 1, map your sales process. That should take you about 30 minutes. Max, set your timer, map that process. Don't sweat the small stuff, just get the big steps down, right, and do it across those 5 categories. Number 2, go back through those 5 categories if you've got 40 items, for example, and pick the gaps. Pick the ones you're not doing so well on. Are you slow to contact leads? When you get out to meet customers, you're not understanding exactly what they need. Are you not creating enough value? Are you not following the process? Whatever it is you're not doing well, pick those gaps. Right? Most businesses, when they do first pass on this, are going to end up with 10 to 15 gaps. If you end up with more, don't worry about it. If you end up with less, that's okay too. But most of them are going to end up with 10 to 15, even up to 20. Right? That's your first pass. As you go through those gaps, and let's say you've got 15 there, pick the top half dozen, the most important 6 that you can move a dial on. Now, if that ends up being 7 or 5 or 8, that's okay too. Right? It's all about progress over perfection here. But what we're trying to do is find those areas in your quoting gaps that can make the biggest difference. All right, so you pick those 6. So you've mapped your sales process. You've started with your gaps. You've ended up with probably 10 to 20 of those. Right? You then pick your most impactful 6. And once you've got those 6 done, pick the ones that are easiest to implement. Okay, that should give you 2, 3, or even 4 things that you can work on. In this case, this group had 2 things they focused on, which was over the phone, being able to take payment on the spot, and when they're out on site. This group had 3 or 4 things that they quoted on, but it was all about how they can take payment faster, how they can quote faster, and how they can engage with their customers around a sample process in a manner that's going to really keep them involved and get the deals done quickly, right? So they had a few other things in there, right? But this group, they said, okay, these are the areas we're going to focus on. And bang, in their first 2 weeks, they executed exactly what they needed to do from these, and they're rolled out into their team. Now, this all came from a 1-hour exercise of quite simply mapping their process, picking their gaps, whittling them down to the most impactful, and then hitting the easiest to implement first. Sounds pretty simple? The good news is that it is quite simple. It's something that any business can roll out very quickly, right, and make significant change to their results when they focus on the fast to implement but big ticket items. So in my experience, we normally see a bump of 20 to 25% in close rates when we can do this process and really nail it. Right, not bad for an hour's work and then a bit of implementation from it. So as you're going through this episode, what I'm hopeful you're thinking is, okay, Who am I going to bring in to this sales process review? When can I do it? Friday afternoon's a great time. Right? Can I do it over lunch? Can I bring in some food? Right? How am I going to make it happen? Well, do it in the office, get those people together. Right? And what I'm hoping you're thinking is, all right, let's give this a go. Because the reality is that if you are a business who is not growing like you'd like to, or if you have stresses around your time, around your money, around your quote win rates, around anything in your business, the reality is you must change something. Because if you change nothing changes. Right? Spoiler alert from us is that's our job. We've got some really cool programs that are launching in the coming months. Some of these are going to be free. They won't cost you a cent, but they're going to be running off a wait list. So if you want to make sure you get notified about these, please jump into the show notes. There's a link there. It will simply put you onto the list so you'll get notified when they come out. That's it. Very simple. But if you're not in it, there's no chance you're going to win it. So as you leave today's episode, please keep that focus on being 1% better each and every day. In this instance, it's finding some really strong, easy to implement sales process gaps and getting about fixing them. Get that done. It will make the difference. We'll see you later in the week. Bye for now.